We all have days in our lives that, for good or bad, we'll always remember. For me, one of the best days was February 12th, 2009, when I was confirmed as Director of the Central Intelligence Agency. To lead these silent warriors who willingly put their lives on the line in order to protect our nation, without the expectation and often even the possibility of receiving public thanks for their efforts, is one of the greatest honors of my life. Now, I'd like to tell you about one of the worst days. December 30th, 2009, a day which led to many of the most heartbreaking I spent at the CIA. A few months after I assumed my duties at Langley, we received a tantalizing lead. The Jordanians believed they had gotten a jihadist to become a double agent, go into Afghanistan, and help locate the number 2 man in Al-Qaeda, Ayman Zawahiri. Zawahiri had been Osama bin Laden's second in command for 9 years. Locating him might help us further dismantle Al-Qaeda and even help lead us to bin Laden himself. We sent a dozen of our best officers to Afghanistan. It was their mission to validate whether this asset was legitimate and whether he could lead us to the most wanted man on the planet. I briefed the President and the National Security Council, and then anxiously awaited the outcome. On the other side of the world, our officers set up a meeting with the asset at Camp Chapman in Host, Afghanistan. It was 5 a.m. on December 30th, 2009, when I received a call with the terrible news. The asset was driven onto the base, and our officers had come out to greet him. When the asset got out of the car, he reached inside his vest and detonated a massive suicide bomb. He killed 7 CIA officers and wounded several others.
The CIA says 7 of its employees were killed and 6 others wounded in a suicide bombing at a base in Afghanistan. It was one of the deadliest attacks in CIA history. CIA Director Leon Panetta says the casualties sustained at Forward Operating Base Chapman and Coast were the result of a terrorist attack.
Not long after that, Al-Qaeda released a video the attacker had recorded shortly before he conducted his brutal assault. It showed exactly the kind of evil we were up against. We traveled to Dover Air Force Base to greet the aircraft carrying our fallen colleagues. The families were all there, too many to fit into the small base chapel, so we gathered at the nearby cafeteria. I told them that their loved ones had died on a very important mission trying to protect our country. And every person I talked to, every single one of them, said their son, their daughter, their husband, their wife, their sister, their brother were doing exactly what they lived to do when they died. On that bitterly cold day, we honored the following: Jennifer Matthews, our Chief of Base; Harold Brown, Elizabeth Hanson, Darren Labonte, Dane Parisi, Scott Roberson, and Jeremy Wise. Over the next few weeks, I attended funerals and memorial services for all of them. Each service was unique and poignant and remarkable. May 1st, 2011 marked an historic day for this country. In fact, an historic day for the world.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
The raid on Abbottabad was built upon years of intelligence, painstakingly collected by men and women of the CIA, some of whom died in the attack at Host. I went to the White House that night, and there were great throngs of people surrounding the executive mansion. Shortly before I left CIA to become Defense Secretary, I made a trip to Host to see the place where so many of our fine officers lost their lives. I brought with me a plaque to be installed there, and on it was a verse from Isaiah, chapter 6. I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And then I said, "Here I am, Lord. Send me. Send me." It is humbling to know that there are people willing to answer the sound of the trumpet, willing to go to the most dangerous places in the world, willing to sacrifice all in order to protect this country. And it is especially fitting that there's an organization, this organization, the CIA Officers Memorial Foundation, to honor them by continuing an equally important mission, helping to care for the families they loved. The 7 CIA officers who died at Host left behind 6 spouses and 11 children. Several of them have already received scholarships, and others will have their educational needs met in the years to come, thanks to this foundation. I would like to thank all of you who support the CIA Officers Memorial Foundation. It's only through your generosity that we can look after the families of the fallen and begin in some small way to repay those who have paid the ultimate price in protecting us all. That we can promise them better days to come, days of graduations, finding their first jobs, days of taking comfort knowing the CIA Officers Memorial Foundation is always here for them. Today, that is possible because of you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.